but actually the master is not away. He is here with us. So I don't know who else is watching the place. I am Torgo. I watch after the place while the master is away. The master is here, so I have no idea who's watching the place. You know the jig. I look after the place, yada yada. The master is with us, so I don't know who's watching the place. One of those will be a good take.
The countdown to terror has begun.
The signal's getting stronger now. It won't be long.
Come quick! The monster done ate my pappy!
Do you really think this was a bear, Doc?
Highly unlikely.
First man on Mars. Once he was human.
There's something shiny in the rock. This is really starting to sting.
Now a bloodthirsty monster, killing and devouring the young. And not so innocent.
Let's take a look at this, huh?
I'm gonna blast the thing back to hell.
Oh, shit.
First man on Mars.
You mean there's aliens out here? Shit, I don't want to get ducted in anal.
This film is not rated.
The hunting season has begun. But the hunter isn't human. Only the prey are. It came without warning. Like nothing on this earth.
Our friends are dead.
Beyond any known terror.
Stop that horrible creature. Come on. They're chasing me.
Because when it leaves this planet, no one may be left alive.
Look, I'm warning you. When they start eating on you, don't come to me for help.
It's crazy.
He came down here with a sport. He wants to get himself a few trophies. And you know what? Right now, you and me, we are the prize game.
The hunter. The hunted.
There was no tree.
The thing that preys on human fear and feeds on human flesh. From deepest space it came, and now man is the endangered species. It came without warning, and now it's coming for you.
If you think you're frightened by the unknown, wait until you face reality.
Her left leg was ripped from her body, and her hair was pulled back so hard that it broke her neck.
Kill it! Oh, shit!
are dying like flies.
Scared to death. Thank God it's only a movie. From Lone Star Pictures. Rated R.
Aren't you scared to death? There we go, folks. Yes, it's the Syngenor from Scared to Death. It's the Trick or Treat Studios mask that I got about a month ago. And it is a beauty. This was designed and built for the film originally by William Malone, who, of course, co-wrote and directed Scared to Death, which we will be talking about tonight because it's part of the incredibly low-budget films. How did they make them for no money? Part of the show tonight. So we'll be taking a closer look at this later. It's a beauty. It's a beauty, folks. It is a freaking beauty. Stay there. Don't bite me. Either. Good Lord. Okay. Let me get these damn glasses off. Good evening, fiends and freaks alike, and welcome to the Horror Mike Show. Obviously, I am your host, Horror Mike, and, well, glad to see you on this fine Friday evening. And we have a little bit of a show lined up, you know. I mean, it's going to be a bit of a humdinger, I guess. What we're going to take a look at, as you just saw, two trailers: Scared to Death from 1980 and Without Warning, also from 1980. What do these films have in common? Well, a few things. Both of them essentially were made, their production budgets were about the same, which was almost nothing. Okay, $75,000 budget for each of those films. Now, Without Warning did have a $150,000 budget. $75,000 of that went to paying Jack Palance and Martin Landau. Okay, so there's, aside from that, they really had a shooting budget of 75 grand. It's interesting to note, too, that 18 grand of that 75 grand went to paying Rick Baker for making the alien head. Believe it or not, which he did in his kitchen. So that's yet another incredible thing. Just a quick thing as far as Scared to Death as well. William Malone designed and built the Syngenor, the creature, himself. Okay? So one of the things that these two films have in common is a very DIY, do-it-yourself approach. And you've got to. If you're making a film for 75 grand, even in 1980, that's nothing, folks. That is absolutely nothing in what I call no budget filmmaking. Not even low budget. It's no budget, okay? So we'll be paying tribute to those films and taking a closer look at both of those and perhaps a few others tonight on the Horror Mike Show. And as I showed you briefly there, we'll get it back out, but I got a Syngenor mask. I found one. It's Trick or Treat Studios. And previously, Don Post had issued the Syngenor mask that came out. Believe it or not, folks, William Malone, the guy that directed, co-wrote and directed and made the original Syngenor creature, worked at Don Post shortly before he made Scared to Death. He was a Don Post monster mask maker, my good fiends. Absolutely incredible thing about William Malone. Of course, he later went on to make Creature. I have covered that. It was also released as Titan Find, starring Klaus Kinski, and I think it's Wendy Schaub is in that, or Wendy Shaw, one of the two. Yashab, Yashal. Hey, let's call the whole thing off, shall we? So in any case, folks, without further ado, let's check on the. Let's see who's made a few comments tonight on the show. I have. Hello, Horror Mike. I am one of us is here. Hello, I am one of us. How you doing? Good to see you. Dave James is here. Friday night with Horror Mike. Life is good. Dave also says, it came without warning to throw mini frisbees. But yes, that is correct, Dave James. But to throw mini frisbees with teeth. Okay, that's the thing right there. Now, if you're out in the park and you're throwing those mini frisbees and you get one that has teeth on it, watch out. That's what I'm talking about right now. You got to watch that stuff. Now, before you see those trailers, of course, you saw trailers to my films, First Man on Mars, and whatever the hell the other one was. Oh, right. My other film, my horror anthology movie.com. I'm gonna throw that link in the chat right there for you, folks. That is a link directly to the First Man on Mars Blu-ray, which is on sale currently on the website. And then there's a link to eBay. Now, it's sold out on eBay temporarily. So a couple of days ago, I didn't even realize that I had to go back and redo another page. So I did restock, and it's back up on eBay as well. So it's available directly off my website, which is horroranthologymovies.com, or eBay currently. That's where you can get it. And also, before that, or I don't know, or after that, maybe that's more appropriate. I'm not quite sure. But you saw a trailer for my film Horror Anthology Movie Volume 1. That is the link, the direct link to Amazon. You can rent it on Amazon for a measly $1.99, folks. Yeah, $1.99. You heard me right. Okay, almost 2 hours long. Approximately 2 hours, 6 segments. If you like sci-fi horror, like I like sci-fi horror, you're going to dig the hell out of Horror Anthology Movie Volume 1. Only one of the segments is supernaturally based. The rest are sci-fi horror. So if you dig it, check it out. Sci-fi horror, man. I try to cover as much of that as possible on the channel, So there you go with that. That is Horror Anthology Movie Volume 1. My good fiends. I think I may have missed something. Oh, yeah, I see. Wait a second. Todd Bone is here. Hello, Todd. How you doing? Good to see you. All right, folks. So, no budget films. Absolutely incredible that, when you look at these films, of course, that's the way I make my films, folks. I mean, even less of a budget. To give you an idea, now this is Scared to Death right here. Now, I also recently got this. This was, I don't know, less than 2 months ago. I picked this up. It's fantastic. This is the Vinegar Syndrome release of Scared to Death. And they did a freaking great job of this. It's got slipcover. Then you got the actual case right here. And, of course, in the back, it has got some fantastic extras, including a making of Scared to Death, which is great, and some other short extras as well. So, highly recommended. Matter of fact, I think I've got that. Yes, I do. If you are interested, I'm dropping a link in the chat as well. There we go. That's the link, direct link to Amazon for the Scared to Death Blu-ray. And they did a great job because, of course, they were able to get the original camera negatives from Bill Malone. Now, as I recall, Scared to Death was shot in 16 millimeter. So they got the 16 millimeter negatives and they did a fantastic transfer. And so what you see is probably the best version we're ever going to see of Scared to Death, which is awesome, you know. And the great thing about this is that it does have 2 discs. The second disc is William Malone's own version of Scared to Death, his own director's cut, if you will, of Scared to Death. So you get 2 discs, folks, and it's freaking well worth it. I am so glad I got this. So, no budget filmmaking. William Malone working at Don Post Studios in the 1970s. He decides he's going to make a movie. He decides he's going to make a monster movie, horror film. And he's been working at Don Post, so he proceeds to make his monster, the Syngenor. And, or Syngenor stands for synthesized genetic organism. So he makes this creature. It takes him like 6 months to make it. So he's got his monster. It looks freaking awesome. That is one huge part of a film. This allows him, of course, to, you know, he's a huge step ahead of the game already because he's got his great looking creature. And then he proceeds to, of course, he sells, I think, pretty much everything he owned. You know, he mortgaged his house, I think, just to raise the money himself. He raised $75,000 to make the film. Everything he had. He was absolutely flat broke when he made this film. And he had his monster suit. And fortunately for him, the film did very well. I mean, you can imagine it was made for $75,000. It got theatrical release. It played in, I don't know, you know, like hundreds of drive-ins, of course, and some cinemas across the United States and internationally. So, yeah, you know, it made several million. He made his money and more. And it was a great gamble that paid off for William Malone. So there you go, folks. Highly recommended Scared to Death. Besides The Mask, before we dive into any more specifics on Scared to Death, I picked up this, which is the thumbnail, by the way. This is the original, what they call lobby card. It really isn't. For me, this is a half sheet. I think you'll agree. This is a Spanish language half sheet, which is totally cool. And I believe it's out of Mexico, if I'm not mistaken. As you can see, it says Grito de Pánico, which is their title, which simply means scream of panic. And on top it says, Conozca la verdadera cara de la muerte. Know the true face of death. There. And then over on the side it says, Una mujer frente a la experiencia más aterradora de su vida. A woman faces the most terrorizing experience of her life. And then on the bottom it says, Parece ciencia ficción, pero es la más terrible realidad. It seems like science fiction, but it's the most terrifying reality. There it is, folks. Scared to Death, or as they call it, Scream of Panic. Mexican, and you can see the Syngenor there. That's great. I just love the absolute pop of their posters. Sometimes is just you know, you just can't ignore them, you know. So I picked this one up for $10, which I think was a great deal. It's the original. So there we have that. Now, let's mosey on over, folks, to IMDb. Shall we? There we go. Scared to Death. Here's the page. I'm gonna have to get my I'm gonna have to get my glasses on here, folks. I can't read this for Jack Squatney. And I think I'll have to increase the. There we go. Now that should help a lot. God, I hope so. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, Scared to Death, 1980. Directed by William Malone, who co-wrote it with Robert Short, starring John Stinson, Diana Davidson, and David Moses. They all do a great job. If you saw my video, Rick Springfield, believe it or not, was supposed to get the starring role, and he backed out the night before shooting was to begin. You can believe that shit. And so luckily, William Malone got John Stinson to come in the lead role. Good Lord, man. So in any case, there's a variety of photos. It really is just insane what he was able to do with 75 grand. Now, what's funny too is that this is Tony Janota. I think that's her name. I'm not mistaken. It closes. She's the bookish imp in the film. Tony Janota. Yeah, that's her. So she starred in the film, and she ended up marrying William Malone. They got together during the film, apparently. And so there you go with that. It's a little aside there. But let's move on further. I think there's something about this. I just want to. Yeah, okay, here we go. Yeah, now this is something that people, when they hear Syngenor, they might get the wrong idea. There's Malone's other film, Creature, and I've covered that, a.k.a. Titan Find. But here is Syngenor. Now, Syngenor came out years later. This is 1990, right? Well, a decade later. It's the same creature. Malone had little to, I don't think he had anything to do with this in reality. And they call it Syngenor, right? So there's a whole bunch of these Syngenors causing havoc. And it's just not very good. Let's put it that way. David Gale is in it. And even David Gale cannot save this steaming pile. But in any case, people do get it mixed up with Scared to Death. They are two separate films. Just to let you know. Let's get back to Scared to Death. Yeah, this is the thing. Director William Malone had to sell most of his possessions, including his car and mortgaging his house, in order to raise enough money to make the movie. That is just astounding, man. Absolutely astounding. As we know, which should be in here somewhere. Yeah, the tech specs. I just want to verify one thing. What Mother humper? What the hell? Okay, tech specs. There we go. Thank you. It was 16 millimeter, man. And then they, of course, for theatrical release, what they would do is they would take the 16 millimeter negative and blow them up to 35 millimeter prints for the theaters and drive-ins and so forth. So fortunately, William Malone had the original 16 millimeter negatives, which Vinegar Syndrome, of course, used for their transfer. And it looks really great. So that's quite a plus right there for it. Yeah. Okay. God. All right. There we go. Let's see where we're at here. All right. Great. Okay, folks. So that is Scared to Death. And let me hold on one second, guys. Okay, so before we move on from Scared to Death, I've got another trailer. I think this is Vinegar Syndrome. Check it out.
Well, he actually succeeded in designing a totally new life form. I mean, something that has never existed before. Resilient, intelligent, and I think very deadly. He told me once that if it ever grew up, it would probably be very dangerous. Okay, folks. Yeah, it's kind of a strange trailer. You may agree with me on. It's just kind of like it starts off and Tony Janota is talking about the Syngenor. Then it just cuts into these scenes with music. I don't know what the hell Vinegar Syndrome was going for on that, but I can tell you this right now, folks. This is the Vinegar Syndrome Blu-ray. And I dropped the link into the chat. Highly recommended. If you like this film, you got to check this out. It is definitely the best version. I used to have a VHS version. Of course, that goes without saying. Okay. I mean, those were the days, folks. Okay. But, and as I said before, cool thing about it is that it's got two versions of Scared to Death in it. This one is the Vinegar Syndrome. They're, from the original camera negatives. And then this one is, which I believe was done like 2006, 2008 by William Malone himself. This is his own version, kind of like his director's cut. So, and of course, there's some awesome extras in this film. Rise of the Syngenor, making of documentary about Scared to Death, which is fantastic. Locations of Scared to Death. They're filming in and around Los Angeles. I love it. I love it. And some other stuff, of course, commentary tracks. Some of the people. Absolutely fantastic, folks. Highly recommended. Link is in the chat. I know that some people have chimed in. I'm going to get to you here. Yep. Once again, that is the link if you're interested in getting Scared to Death. Definitely, this is the best version that you can get from Vinegar Syndrome. So let me get back to the chat. I see some people have chimed in. This is totally cool. Where are we? Okay, Todd is walking and talking. Well, that's good. Archivist Adrift is Are We Live? I wonder if he figured it out. Maybe so. Yep, Todd says that's a fantastic poster. It is. Mexican posters, buddy. They are just freaking awesome. Yeah, if you're referring to $10 on that poster, yeah, look, you know how it is. Look, it's Spanish language. I believe this is the Mexican version, half sheet. And it is incredibly cheap. You're absolutely right. You know, it could definitely have sold for a bit more than that. But, you know, if you look at the, of course, obviously, like the original one sheet for Scared to Death, I think on eBay it's $150, $200 in really good shape, which is what you would expect, you know. For a lot of movies, especially 70s and 80s, poster art from foreign markets is bonkers. Yes. Imagine that makes them super collectible. I thought I saw nearly every horror film till I found this channel, Wild Stuff. You should take a look at the videos I've done, Archivist Adrift. I've got some obscure films that just might blow your mind. Let's put it that way. I've seen it on Tubi. I enjoyed it. Might have to buy it. Yes, it is on Tubi, folks, as well. And I don't know what copy that is they have on Tubi, but it's pretty clean. It looks really good. So recommend it on Tubi. The next film I'm going to talk about is also on Tubi. So that is one thing. Is Vinegar Syndrome intro intentionally prawn-like? Only familiar with their horror releases. Yeah, it's more like Grindhouse-like. I think they're going for a little bit of a Grindhouse thing. Or perhaps a little Golden Showers. I don't know. I'm just putting it out there, folks. Music doesn't really match the alien-looking thing. Yeah, I'm not quite sure what the hell they were getting at there. I think the main thing is that they were trying to show you, like, look how good this, you know, the copy looks. You know, after we did our 4K remaster from the original camera negatives. I think that was their thing, and I think they just kind of were like, here's some great shots and some background music. It could have been better, okay? As far as that goes, I think they should have just done it like a trailer, you know, with dialogue and the whole, you know, classic 80s trailer. Once again, there's your link to the Blu-ray. Library 88 is with us. Hello, Library 88. Good to see you. Hey, you there. Oh, man, I can't recall if I've ever seen Scared to Death. Got to look into it. It is on Tubi, Library 88. Very cool. All right, guys. That's excellent. So, you know, we've looked at a couple of things Scared to Death. Once again, let me bring out the bad boy. Okay, folks, I got to back up some stuff here. Now, I've been looking for this thing for a long time. It's not cheap, folks. It's rather rare. Both, God, that I could only imagine what you would pay for one of the original Don Post masks of Syngenor, Scared to Death. The Trick or Treat Studios, long gone, long sold out, is also expensive and rare. You know, typically speaking, and I'm talking about getting one in pretty much perfect condition, not that's like dried and you see some where people are just like, okay, look, that mask is like, you know, just completely screwed up. And they're trying to sell it for like $100. It's ridiculous. So I've been looking and looking. Finally, I found a Trick or Treat Studios version, which I love. And the thing about this, let me bring it in. Check that out. Now, you know, it's, for me, this is like one of the best masks I've seen from Trick or Treat Studios. I got to tell you, it's just, you know, and the thing is, if you look at it there, check that head out. Now it's a little, there's a little slight dent there, but it really isn't a dent. It's just the way the thing is. But William Malone sculpted the head and the body. He made the creature, the director of the film, Scared to Death. He originally worked for Don Post Studios. And of course, this was when Don Post put it out, it was the William Malone Syngenor that they released, right? Later, years later, Don Post still has the original molds. He gives them to Trick or Treat Studios. And thus, you get the Syngenor. I think, I want to say this was like a 2015, maybe a little later release from Trick or Treat. But they just did a fantastic job, and it's just a really cool looking monster, you know? And of course, let's just be straight about this. Malone even talked about it. He went and saw the premiere of Alien, same premiere I attended. It was at the Egyptian Theater. It was the world premiere, Egyptian Theater in Los Angeles. And he was blown away by Alien, like everybody was. So shortly after that, that's when he decided, hey, I'm going to make my own monster movie. And as you can see with the design on the Syngenor, there is an alien, kind of a feel to it. It also reminds me of, strangely enough, of, what was it called? The Sill? Is that correct? Did they call her Sill from Species? It really, which was, of course, came out years later. But there's a thing about it that reminds me of that as well. I think they did Trick or Treat did a great job. I was fortunate enough to find this relatively cheaply. The only thing about it is that right here, or where is it? Right here. There's a little part here at the flap, which is it's not as, I mean, it's still supple, but you can tell that it's stiffened up a bit. It's just a little piece right here. The rest of it is like perfect. So there you go. It is definitely my favorite mask in my collection. There is no doubt about it. It is fantastic. If you love monster masks, I do love them. I don't really have a collection. This is like, I think this is monster mask number 6 that I have. And that's probably going to be it. You know, I'm just not a collector as such, but there's just certain things that I see it and I'm like, man, I've got to see if I can get it. And I just love the design of this so much that I had to get one. And I kept looking until I found one at a very reasonable price, by the way. So, and just to let you guys know, I'll just give you a heads up. If you don't jump the gun and you keep looking, you can find one in really good shape. And I say really good shape that's kept its form. That one thing too is that it's wearable, right? I can just put this on. So there's a big factor. Some of them say, don't wear it. You can't, it's no longer wearable because it's gotten all hard, you know, and stiff. You kind of want to avoid that. But this one is in really in excellent shape overall. You can find them if you're patient for under $100. Let's put it that way. Definitely under $100. So there you go, folks. It is just so cool. So freaking awesome. Okay. Enough of the Syngenor. Now, one thing I think I'm going to do. We're rolling into our next film, my good fiends. Okay. Hold on. Oh, shit. Hold on. Oopsie. Oopsie daisies. There we go. Ah. Without Warning, also from 1980, also with a production budget of 75 grand. Now, the film did have a $150,000 budget. 75 grand of that went to paying Martin Landau and Jack Palance, which was a really good move, by the way. The one thing about this film that's a little different than Scared to Death, all the people were relative unknowns as far as the actors in that film. But not Without Warning, folks. Without Warning, it still boggles my mind how they did it for 150 grand. Okay. So you got Jack Palance, you got Martin Landau, right? You also have Neville Brand, Cameron Mitchell, Sue Ann Langdon, Ralph Meeker is in this freaking movie, Larry Storch. Yes, Larry Storch, folks, from F Troop. David Caruso. This is his first movie. Yeah, David Caruso, who would be in whatever it was, NYPD Blue or whatever the hell he was in. But this is his first film, so yeah, they paid him like $10, I'm sure. Lynn Thiel is in this film, folks. Luscious Lynn Thiel, okay, as Beth. Oh yes, she was a Playboy playmate, okay, and yeah, so that's kind of hot right there. And they got now Kevin Peter Hall plays the alien. Kevin Peter Hall is this dude who's like, I don't know, 6'7" or something. What's really interesting, he's 6'9", sorry. 6'9", Kevin Peter Hall. He played the alien in Without Warning, okay? He also played the Predator in The Predator. Now, it's often been said that The Predator, and I made a video about it, The Predator ripped off Without Warning. Okay, if you look at let's go to the basic premise here and tell me what you think. Sandy and Greg are teenagers who go camping, despite warnings not to. So they did have warning with their friends. They soon encounter an alien who use the area as a hunting ground. So basically what it is this evil alien. It's an alien. They really screwed up the description. Who hunts people for sport on Earth, and he collects their bodies like trophies. Okay, and he stores them in this shed, in this remote shed. Any of that sound vaguely familiar? Yeah, it sounds like basically the plot of Predator, right? The bizarre thing is that the guy that played, as I said, the guy that plays the alien in Without Warning, Kevin Peter Hall, years later, he plays the Predator in both the original Predator film and Predator 2. But so there are similarities, like really striking similarities between Without Warning and Predator. However, that being said, you could go back to 1932, folks, with The Most Dangerous Game, 1932 film about a guy that purposefully shipwrecks a boat on an island so he can hunt the people for sport, right? It's kind of the same thing. It's a human hunting these people instead of an alien. And you might even take it back to William Shakespeare's The Tempest, if you dared take it that far back. But in any case, Without Warning, I love this film, and I now that who let's go back here. Where is that? Who said that? Okay, there was somebody was talking about the maybe it was Dave James was talking about the mini frisbees, the frisbees with teeth, folks, and without warning. So hold on, I'm going to play you the trailer that I have for Without Warning. Check this out. This is I believe the original, trailer number 1 for Without Warning.
The hunting season has begun. But the hunter isn't human. Only the prey are. It came without warning. Like nothing on this earth.
Our friends are dead.
Beyond any known terror.
Stop that horrible creature. Come on. They're chasing me.
Because when it leaves this planet, no one may be left alive.
Look, I'm warning you. When they start eating on you, don't come to me for help.
Baby!
He came down here with a sport. He wants to get himself a few trophies. And you know what? Right now, you and me, we are the prize game.
The hunter. The hunted.
There was no tree.
The thing that preys on human fear and feeds on human flesh. From deepest space it came, and now man is the endangered species. It came without warning, and now it's coming for you.
There you go, folks. A little trailer for Without Warning. It was also called It Came Without Warning. Fortunately, they dropped that and just released it as Without Warning. So that's the trailer. Those are the frisbee creatures that you see. And of course, that's the one alien. It's only a singular alien in the film. And the alien head, of course, was designed and built by Rick Baker for $18,000 in his kitchen. Okay, that's what happened there with good old Rick Baker and the alien head. Incredible. But the frisbees, yeah, the creatures, whatever, they look like little kind of warped looking frisbees with teeth. That is a really cool thing. I'm gonna have to look into maybe making some doing a sculpt and a mold of those, and see if I can actually come up with one that, based upon the Without Warning creature, because that would be kind of a doable deal, really. So in any case, thanks to Dave James for bringing that up, because now I'm thinking about it. Oh, yes, I am. So Without Warning, folks, incredible. As I was saying, the director, Graydon Clark, all of the scenes that they did with the little sucker frisbees flying around and attaching themselves to humans, all of those effects were done in Graydon Clark's house. Okay, once again, true DIY. There ain't no doubt about that. Absolutely astounding. Just, what you can do for no money. And obviously getting this cavalcade, what I would call an impressive list of actors to be in this film, definitely helped with the marketing. There's no doubt about it. Folks, this is 1980. People are, okay, yeah, Cameron, all these guys like Cameron Mitchell, Larry Storch, Neville Brand, perhaps, have seen their heydays, but still they're very well known. In 1980, everybody knows these guys, so I think it was a stroke of genius to get some of these people in. Larry Storch was only there for half a day. I believe Neville Brand, possibly Ralph Meeker, and Cameron Mitchell were only like at most there for one day of shooting. So that was just a really good move by Graydon Clark, the director, filmmaker. Very cool stuff. So let's get back to the chat. Oh, there we are. Oh, here we go. Okay. Yeah. Library 88 says Trick or Treat has been taking care of business. Indeed, they have. Eager influence looks like kind of Specimen E. Of course, way predating it. Yes. Species. Yes. It was called Species. The one with that hot blonde. I forget her name. Oh boy, yeah. The hell was her name? Natasha Henstridge, right? Natasha Henstridge. She was Syl, I believe. Well, the creature as well in Species. Yes. Species is good too. I like Species a lot. Jack Palance, yeah, and Martin Landau. Yeah, folks, Without Warning is also on Tubi. So just to let you know, if you're interested in seeing it, both these films you can watch for free on Tubi. And they're, once again, I think the Without Warning print is pretty good on Tubi as well. So, hey, make it a double feature. It'll be a no-budget double feature for you. You know, I mean, there you go. That's the name of the game on this Friday evening, folks. No budget films. Yes, indeed. David Caruso, yep, his first film. On that budget that the producers have blackmail material to get that cast, you know, it's absolutely incredible. Harry and the Hendersons, of course. I ain't got time to bleed. 32 is the best version of Most Dangerous Game. You're absolutely right, Todd. Vagina dentata frisbees. Yes. I'm going to try to make one. Incredible trailer. It's a good trailer. Creator design on the cover looks super familiar. It's like the poster from the Beast Within. Yeah, it kind of does remind one of that Beast Within poster. I do like that a lot as well. But, okay, so let's get back here. Let's do this. What else did I have? Okay, I covered that. I covered those. We got that. Okay. I know I'm missing something here. I'm going to go to share screen again. Not quite sure what the hell. Well, let's put this up for the time being. Ah, okay, there we go with that. Maybe it was, hold on. Yeah, of course. One more thing. I forgot to mention this with Syngenor. Okay, now there's this website. You guys may be familiar with this. It's called Monsters in Motion. There's also Amok Time. They're basically the same thing. They just sell a bunch of collectibles. That's what they do, right? Monsters in Motion. So I was on Monsters in Motion a while back, and I was looking around. I do a search for Syngenor, thinking, hey, I wonder if they've got anything on Syngenor. And believe it or not, this is actually pretty incredible. Hold on one second, guys. I think I may have gotten a knock at my door. Hold on. I'll leave you with a trailer for a second. Let's see what the hell I have. Oh, there we go. Nah, maybe not. Let's try this.
Tunnel Vision, the no bullshit network. This is television of the future. And here's a sneak preview of the new shows you'll see on Tunnel Vision, 1985. On Mondays, laugh it up with the best of Marie.
Just one little hug.
Followed by Knocked Up and On the Run, the Pregnant Man. It's hilarious family entertainment with those cut-up cuties on Charlie's Girls.
Woo! Romanian scumbag.
Then, catch the scintillating wit and warmth of Ramon and Sonia.
Mafungo mats.
Bloodsuckers. Grotesque rituals and pagan orgies. They worship evil as their god, and their high priest is lust. Bloodsuckers. The living dead feasting on the life's blood of their victims.
Keep quiet and sit down! I command you!
When the future of the planet is threatened, enemies must work together.
We really trust the Alphas.
We have no choice. Only one man, a war criminal, can save humankind.
Anson Hawk is the only man who has navigated the wormhole and survived.
You leave me alone. I just buried my wife.
You went to the office. You fell asleep. What'd you do then? You call home?
You can only be seen if you want to be seen.
Nashville's Karen Black and Winston Record of Agnes of God star in Eternal Evil.
I believe in those who are free enough to give.
Ah, yes, to give. But what?
To give myself.
But to what?
To whatever needs me.
What in heaven's name are you talking about? Depravity.
I don't know what that means.
Indecency. In and out.
Tell it like it is, baby.
I celebrate the virtue, the beauty, the wonder of my fractured spleens, old, lymph-drained, liquid lust.
See ya.
Okay. False alarm. Never a dull moment. In any case, check it out. So it's 2025. Scared to Death. Absolute no budget film, right? Some of you have never even seen the film. Once again, it is on Tubi. I recommend it. I mean, for such a low budget film, I think it's great. But guess what? Yeah, they're coming out with an action figure. They're coming out with a Syngenor action figure, folks. Yes. So it's gonna be available on Monsters in I would imagine Monsters in Motion, Amok Time, probably gonna be on eBay. I believe. Let's take a look at this. I think they say August or September. Oh yeah, August. Shipping Tuesday, August 5th. So it's a bit of a ways off, But as it says, Scared to Death 1981 Syngenor. 1990. They're pointing out both films. 3.75 inch retro style action figure. There it is. There are the two original. Well, not exactly, but they're back there. There's some of the original key art. I believe maybe the original VHS art for both films. Scared to Death on the left, Syngenor 1990 on the right. Pretty cool stuff. So that's where we're at with Syngenor. They're actually, it just flipped me out that, 45 years later, folks, they're coming out with an action figure for Scared to Death, the Syngenor. That is hilarious. William Malone. He just keeps going and going. God bless William Malone. He's a great guy. All right. There's another thing that you got to check out. This is kind of somewhat unrelated. I mean, it is related in the great world of sci-fi, horror, and fantasy, of course. All right. So that's one thing. I'm about to unleash something upon you. If you haven't seen this, get ready. Just get ready here, because it just was absolutely fantastic that this happened, that they actually did this. I never heard of it, didn't know squat about it. This was a 90s program from the UK, all shot in the UK, in London. There we go. All right. Let me first, what I want to do is go to, okay. Let me just get this together. Here we go. Here we go. Yeah, which one is it? Damn. Oh, yeah. You're going to dig. Ooh, boy. Boy, you're going to like this. All right. All right, folks. So, in the 90s, there was a program in the UK out of London called TROMA'S Basement, Troma Entertainment. And it was this wacky show. What they would do is they showed feature-length Troma films, right, on a channel in the UK. And so they had these two guys and this woman that introduced the films, essentially, but they had all kinds of hijinks and crazy shit that they did prior to showing the film. And it's funny as hell. The two dudes are great. They've got a British, they got a limey Toxic Avenger in there. They've got a zombie chef who's pretty funny. The woman, wait until you see this gal. Holy Toledo. Okay, that's all I'm saying. Get ready. I love this. Is back in the 90s, folks. The Troma and Troma UK they were nowhere near. They were like stomping on PC. They were stomping on it into the freaking ground. That's what I loved about Troma. Okay, that's it. That's my intro. Get ready. We're about to look at one of the episodes. It's just a short, it's like 7 minutes. You're going to love it. I guarantee you're going to love the way it looks. I guarantee it. Let's see where we're at here. All right, here we go. I'm going to, way better.
welcome to the Troma Basement, the show that is to Troma fans what the yarn is to old people. I'm Ben Miller. And I'm Xander Armstrong. Meet Graham Simons, our resident zombie chef. And Toxie, our very own Toxic Avenger. But first of all, let me introduce to you the one and only, the Tromalicious, Miss Troma.
Coming up, all our usual features.
But first of all, here's the Troma News. Good evening. Good evening. Lloyd Kaufman gives it large in Troma News. Also, we interview some girls who wear very few clothes. That on Troma News now. Good evening. Good evening. Good evening. Good evening. Lloyd Kaufman, the head of Troma Films, has spoken out against claims that Troma Films are politically incorrect. He gave this interview exclusive to Troma News at this year's Cannes Film Festival.
Okay, let's see.
Hot dog. So Lloyd.
Baguette.
Uh-huh.
Hanging.
Mm-hmm. So where do you go from here?
Hung. Bad guy hung. Hot dog.
You're not answering the question, Lloyd. Lloyd, you still haven't answered the question. The phenomenally shy and retiring Lloyd Kaufman managing to open up there to Troma News. That's good to see. Well, following Lloyd's speech, girls everywhere have been wearing skimpier clothes to help save the environment. Troma News bring you this up-to-the-minute report. Hello. Well, I have with me now two girls who are wearing skimpy clothes. Hello, your name is?
Emma.
And your name is?
Joanne.
So is this true? I can see it's true. You're wearing skimpy clothes. Tell me one thing. Why?
Well, it saves on water, doesn't it? Obviously, less clothes means less washing.
So you're concerned about saving water?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and material as well. You use a lot of material when you make clothes. Skimpier the possible.
That's right. I hadn't actually thought about it. So it's actually you're trying to conserve natural resources.
That's right, yeah. And also helps the skin to breathe. You can just let if your skin just breathes, you don't get any spots, you don't get any sort of pimples or anything like that. It's quite good.
I see, excellent. And do you think more girls might start wearing skimpy clothes in the near
definitely.
future?
It's a chance to show off, really, isn't it? In front of the men, walk around less clothes.
Ben Miller for Troma News with two skimpily dressed girls. Actually, I'll just mention this. Actually, is this off? Xander's not here at the moment. I'm having a bit of a party at the hotel tonight, sort of after the show. I just wondered if you, do you want to come along?
Yeah.
That report, of course, exclusive to Troma News. As far as those two are concerned, they can go as skimpy as they like. Why wear any clothes at all? Don't make me laugh. I've got a cracked rib. Here's Miss Troma with the Troma weather.
Hello. A highly toxic night in the north, with enormous mushroom clouds of toxic dust causing hundreds of mutations by early morning. But tomorrow, beginning with radioactive spillage in the north of England, and if you live in the south, some sort of protective clothing is almost essential. That's the weather. Probably.
Tonight's Troma film coming up in a few minutes. But first, a new feature. Due to the large number of complaints we've had from censors and the members of the viewing public over our usual feature, Gun to Her Head, we'd like to introduce a slightly modified feature, Bun to Her Head, where you, the viewers, choose what you would like Miss Troma to do if she had a bun to her head. Ben, can you tell us a bit about this evening's bun, please? I'd be delighted. This week's bun is a slightly unusual choice, granary bap. Not even perhaps a bun.
Choose a card now.
Yes, of course. Wonderful. Thank you very much. Well, this card this week comes from Detective Sergeant Anne Lawson in charge of crime from Newington Tollcross Police Station, and she would like to see Miss Troma play Twister with the Toxic Avenger. Well, Desk Sergeant, whatever you were in charge of crime, I hope this will satisfy you. So, Miss Troma, let me ask you the perennial question. With a bun to your head, will you play?
Oh, go on then.
Miss Troma! Wonderful, really. And remember, the address to write to if you'd like to put a gun to her head is, as always, on a postcard or sealed envelope to Troma Basement, 9 to 13 Grape Street, London, WC2H 8DR.
It's not the basics of cooking that give us trouble, it's those finishing touches which really set a dish apart from the rest.
It's a familiar problem. The sponge has risen, the texture is just right, the filling is just the right balance of fennel and citrus. All that is left is to pipe on the icing, yet it's somewhere so many of us come unstuck. The answer, of course, is one of these, a piping bag. Graham, where on earth do I start?
Well, it's just about time for tonight's Troma movie, but I'm a bit worried that this one's going to be a bit frightening, so I've decided to change into some flat-soled shoes so I can run away if it all gets too much.
Nice they are too.
I can't wait.
And there you go, folks. Yeah, I noticed there's a few comments on this. It's hard to believe. Hold on. Let me see something for a second. I think they put her name in there. Michelle Collins. Michelle Collins played Miss Troma UK. Look, there's now I believe there are 10 or 11 episodes on Troma. Just look up the Troma channel on YouTube and you can watch them all. Okay. Now this episode, they had some, it's from the mid 90s. I guess there were a couple of problems with a few of the episodes as far as the interference, went. Most of them are not like that. Most of them are interference free, but they're eye-popping episodes, folks, if you know what I mean. And I think that you do. Okay, let's get over to the comments now. And while we're doing, as a matter of fact, I think what I'm going to do. Oh, wait a second. Ah, crap. Was this it? It is. There we go. There's Miss Troma UK. Holy Toledo. All right, let's get to the commentary. See what people are on about here. I got to put my glasses back on once again. Yeah. Oh, there we go. Knock on the door. Knock on the door is the name of a horror movie. Yes, I think it is. If I'm not mistaken. Pregnant man on the run. The pregnant man. Lol, they had no idea. Yes, yes. A blonde Karen Black. A blonde Karen Black. Yeah. This chick's like 5 blonde Karen Blacks. That's all I got to say. There is a horror movie called Knock Knock. Right. A remake of Death Game, of course. Amok Time. Yeah, that's actually a website too, you guys. Well, there you go. Who knows? Archivist. I don't even know what the hell the Black Terror is. Never heard of it. I mean, I have. It's the Black Terror is a comic book character from the 1940s, golden age of comics. That's what I know him as, the Black Terror. Yeah, August the 5th, Library 88, apparently. It's taken a while. Let's put it that way. Got the Benny Hill speed. Yes, they it's great. I just love it. The Troma thing it's just Troma basement, man. Huzza wuzza. Yeah, you ain't kidding. You ain't just whistling Dixie on that Library 88. Speaking of video nasties era, there's an excellent horror movie called The Censor about that period. I've seen it. I think it's on it may be on Tubi as well, Todd. And I have not watched it. I'm going to have to watch it. Thanks for reminding me of that. I take that as long as it's not freaking woke tard garbage. Okay. Because if it is, it ain't going to be long for my eyes. What I'm saying. I take that back. I want to go into this basement. Yeah. Oh, yes. All of it, man. And the UK, they caught on to the whole Troma vibe beautifully. They really did. Yeah, all episodes for free on Troma, the Troma channel on YouTube, guys. You can watch. I think they made 12 episodes. I believe. Okay, they're currently on episode 10 or 11. So they're almost done with the run on YouTube. But just go on over to well, here I'm going to drop the link. This is the link to this episode, just to make it a little easier for you guys. There's the link. I just dropped it in the chat for episode 7 of Troma's Basement. But from there, of course, you can find them all. Okay, yeah, Todd found them. Great. Premium television. I'd actually pay a TV license for this. Yes. I'd watch the Zombies cooking show for sure. Awesome stuff. I'd buy that for $1. Oh, yes, the RoboCop. It was hilarious. Yes. She's hot, too. Love Karen Black. Don't get me wrong. This woman here is like, I don't know. When I first saw one of these videos, I felt like calling the California Milk Board on their emergency line. You know what I'm saying? And I think that you do. Oh, great. No wokeness. Excellent. Thanks for that, Todd. I will check that out. Once again, there's the link, folks. If you want to check out Troma's Basement, I love it. Good evening. Good evening. Troma News. Here's Lloyd Kaufman. I just love it. I love it, folks. I love it. I love those. I love her. I mean, what I'm trying to say. And the weather. Her weather reports are, I don't know. I think they're unbeatable. Okay. That's what I'm saying right now with that. Okay. All right, folks. Well, that wraps up the show for tonight. I hope you enjoyed this, and please, by all means, check out the movies, both Scared to Death and Without Warning, on Tubi. They're free on Tubi, and absolutely. If you like zany comedy, they're only like 7 or 8 minutes long. Troma's Basement, but they're funny as hell, and it's got this chick Michelle Collins in it. I just absolutely stunning. It's hard to even believe. Gravity doesn't have shit on this woman. That's all there is to it. It's like it don't exist, folks, and you're gonna find that out if you watch the other episodes of Troma's Basement. Okay. But for now, I'm going to lead you guys out with a couple of things. Of course, I usually lead you in with a bit of the prophecy and the sleeping bag sequence. But I'm going to lead you out with that and a little more of, oh boy, hold on. I'm Torgo and the Hot Babes. Okay. So I hope everyone has a good night, and I'll probably do another episode, maybe at the end of July. We'll see. Or into August. We'll see how it goes. But everybody have a great weekend, and I'll see you later. Take care.
But actually, the master is not away. He is here with us. So I don't know who else is watching the place. I am Torgo. I watch after the place while the master is away. The master is here, so I have no idea who's watching the place. You know the jig. I look after the place, yada yada. The master is with us, so I don't know who's watching the place. One of those will be a good take.